Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Rick Green. I am a certified health coach, and you are viewing tonight's Habits of Health. So I would like to welcome a couple of great people here. First off, Jeannine Groll is a certified health coach as well, and she's going to be doing the presentation. And also Chelsey Thorpe, who is here with us tonight, and she is going to give us a little bit of rundown about herself and kind of her journey. So Chelsey, are you with us?
I am.
Okay, I've got your wonderful picture up here with your two wonderful children. So tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. So like you said, you introduced me, I'm Chelsey. My family just actually recently moved here to Preston from Morgan, Utah. My husband and I have been married for 10 years. We have 2 kids, a 7-year-old boy and a 2-year-old little girl. My journey actually started when we moved up here in June. After struggling with some infertility issues, I'd gotten to probably my heaviest point in my life, and I knew that something had to change for my kids, especially my husband. They deserved a better mom. And I was that typical couch mom. I just wanted to sit on the couch and watch them play, and I wasn't really involved as much as I wanted to. I was athletic in school. I played volleyball, softball. I was an all-state swimmer. At one point, I was top 10 in the state in swimming. So to see me get to where I was at in June of this year was really hard for me to swallow. So in June, I went over to Groll's. I started in the swimming pool, and that's where I was most comfortable, and then got to know some of the most amazing health coaches over there at Groll's. And they really got me into like TRX and cycling. And then just through working out at the gym and eating the right foods and figuring out what foods worked for my body, since June of 2015 of this year to date, I have released almost 70 pounds, and I am down 50.5 inches. Now signed up to be a new health coach.
Today. Or yesterday, actually, huh?
Right. And that was all thanks to the Habits of Health.
Awesome. Wow, that is an amazing story. In 6 months, 70 pounds down and 50 inches. Is that right?
Yep, 50.5. We've got to get that half in there.
Okay.
I measured everyone. It's amazing.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in at kind of the last moment and sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you. Okay, well, Jeannine, are you ready?
I am ready.
Do the Habits of Health tonight.
You betcha.
All right. So come on down.
I'm gonna share my screen here, and I'm excited about this topic because it's one of my favorite things in the world to talk about. So let me just kind of start here from the beginning. Well, actually, I love talking about it all, but I do, like Chelsey was saying, I have a fitness center, and we've been running our fitness center for about 16 years now. And so I love practicing the habit of movement, and especially the E exercises that we're going to be talking about today. And that's one of the things I really, really enjoy. So I hope can everybody see my screen now?
No, not yet. You're gonna
not yet.
Not yet. We're just waiting on you.
Okay. Well, maybe it didn't get shared. One moment. Let me go to share screen one more time.
Sure.
So share my screen.
And
pick the right.
Well, if you can, I can.
You can?
I can.
Oh, dang, because I
do this. Hang on just a second. We'll get it up here. We don't have that problem. All right.
Okay.
There you go. Look at that.
There you go. Now you got it.
Never mind. You're all you now. Go ahead.
Now it's me. Okay, so Like I was saying, we've been working on this, our habits of health, with a lot of our viewers here over the last, I don't know, this is week 8, right? So over the last couple weeks, we've been learning how to do a lot of these habits of health. Week 7, we learned about working on our basal metabolic rate and the thermal effect of food and some of the physical activity levels. Last week, we talked about the NEAT activities, and specifically like our 6 S's of success. And I love NEAT activities. This is one of my favorite things to add extra movement in your day. So hopefully everybody's had a chance to add a little extra movements in. But today we're going to talk about EATs, your exercise activity thermogenesis. And so when we do our EAT and NEAT classes, we have a lot of fun. We just call it becoming a NEAT and EAT freak, and in a good way. And so these are some of the things that are goals in both our NEATs, our non-exercise activity, and our EATs with our exercise activity. Some of the goals is to help increase our energy expenditure. And you can do that through your EATs and your NEATs. But more specifically with your exercise activity, we have more of a focus on a certain type and a certain amount of activity. It also helps optimize your cardiovascular health, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And of course, building the strong and system of bones and muscles. And that's one fun thing that we like to do at our gym, is we do a body composition, and we're able to test and see what your ratio is of muscle and bone and water. And so, for example, when Chelsey came in, her and her mom, at the very beginning, we tested it out, and then it was so fun to be able to do that again when we were doing her checkup and see how much muscle she had built up. So if you have a chance to get that tested, people do it through bioimpedance, and you can go to a lot of times to a gym and get that done, or find out at a local like hospital and stuff also do those. So a lot of things that Dr. A in his chapter 16 in the Habits of Motion, he talks a lot about his philosophy on exercise, and I love it because he talks about how it's important to incorporate activities of moderate intensity based on the premises that you're going to do this for a lifetime. It's not just a short time thing that maybe you do during your health challenge or your healthy games, but it's something that you can keep up for life. And that's why we call these the habits that take shape for life, because we're doing this for life. And although the EAT system does take a little bit of time out of your life and maybe out of your day, it's designed to minimize your commitment and maximize results. And that's another thing I love. And then a saying that we often use at our gym is that exercise doesn't take time from your life, but puts life into your time. And a very important thing to remember, that if you want to actually be able to do the activities, kind of Chelsey was talking about being able to do the activities that you want with your kids, or what some of the things that some of your goals, you need to invest a little bit of time into you. So we're just asking for like 30 minutes a day, and for all these things you get great rewards. One of the habits of health, one of our EAT activities is NEAT and EAT log. So this is a nice little log that you might have looked at last week, the NEAT log. And that just gives you an idea of how often you're moving, how much you're burning. And if you want to go to the appendix in Dr. Anderson's book on page 336 on the habit of health, you can print one of these off and track some of your movements during the day. Also on page 195, you can learn a little bit more about his EAT activities and the benefit of it. So there's so many benefits. I mean, I could go on forever on the benefits of exercise, and sometimes I do get on my little soapbox and talk about it forever. But because we're limited on time, and we don't want Rick to shut me off here, we're gonna move it along. But most specifically, regular scheduled exercise really does boost your energy expenditure and helps you burn more calories, and improves your overall health, from heart health, immune system, mental aptitude, and sex life. We like to throw that in there because that's important too. So it affects all aspects of health. And as we get older, this is even more and more important. because we'll be talking about how this affects like your muscle and how that starts to decrease as you get a little bit older. So simple things that you can do. First of all, just walking. Everybody, well, not almost everybody, can incorporate some walking into their program. It has some great benefits, especially if you're able to get outside and do some walking. Right now, we're hitting some of our colder weather in Idaho, so it's a little bit harder sometimes to get out there and do some walking. But bundle up if you can, if it's not too slippery, and get out there. It lowers your risk of depression, eliminates your need for certain medication, reduces breast cancer risk by 30%, and increases survival rate by 70%. Also lowers your blood pressure and prevents injury to your cardiovascular system by keeping blood vessels open and flexible, and increases your survival rate of heart attacks. So there's huge benefits just listed right there that you will want to definitely incorporate into your life. So we always call that the price is worth the prize. And so it's definitely maybe the price of a few minutes out of your day, or maybe getting out of your comfort zone is worth this prize of the benefits that you'll have. So if you want to start your own walking program, Dr. A has it spelled out very well. I've been impressed. This is a great chapter 16 in your book if you haven't had a chance to read it. He spells it out pretty clear, and a lot of times we'll just start really slow with people. It's not great to just try to kill people off all at once. If you haven't been exercising, usually after about week 3 on our program, we will start incorporating these activities in, and just begin by walking up to 20 minutes a day with a 5-minute warm-up and a cool down. So it doesn't need to take up your whole day. Usually just by cutting out maybe a little bit of Facebook time or something like that, you can incorporate this in. So if you're just starting out, sometimes we'll start with just 5 or 10 minutes and then add 5 minutes each week, working up to a really nice, good, brisk pace. And also worked up to about 20,000 steps per week by week 10. And he has a good tracker for this. So I love that. You can just kind of track how many miles you're doing. And there's some fun gadgets now that you can get that really help to track that, like our Fitbits. We have a Fitbit through Take Shape for Life that you can get, and it's just so much fun to be able to see how many steps that you do have in a day, or just a pedometer if you don't have a Fitbit. So your goal, walk for 30 minutes a day, 5 days per week. Just a simple little strategy there, but those little simple things make a big difference. And again, you can go to the appendix in Dr. A's book and download that chart or copy that chart for the walking program. Now, as you're adding on to your walking is going to have those great cardiovascular benefits, but we also want to add in some strength training or resistant training exercises to help with your muscles and with some of the other advantages that come along with it. So in the Dr. A's book, he talks about a study done at the University of Florida, the School of Medicine, and they discovered that moving a muscle group slowly through the full range of motion improves your strength, your bone density, and overall function. And as a result, the muscle is forced to develop more fibers and grow more. So it really is a unique way to train. I'm a personal trainer, so I train on a lot of different types of programs. And I use this Eat Resistant program from Dr. A quite a bit. And at first, it's just funny to see people's reaction, because they're like, really, only 5 repetitions in one set? And they're used to be, some of them do 50 repetitions. But if it's done right and it's done slowly, like he's talking about, your muscles are very, very fatigued. So going to page 204 in Dr. A's book, you can learn a little bit more about it. But the core principles of this program are truly amazing. The muscle groups are moved slowly through the full range of motion. And I love that he counts it. He counts 8 counts up, hold for 4, and releases slowly down for 8 counts. And it's a good way to practice patience too, because those that are really, just intense and pumping it out, this is a good way to slow them down, having them really feel the full range of motion. So they're held at the point of maximum contraction for about 4 counts, and your focus is more on your core, which is where we want to strengthen anyway. And muscles are stretched to the full range of motion after each muscle group of movement. So the stretching is also an important part that we'll talk about today. The resistance rotation in the back of his Dr. A in the appendix, you can get a whole set of exercises and cute pictures of Lori doing them, Dr. Anderson's wife, and with a great description on how it's done. So it's very simple. You choose a set of 5 exercises from the group, and you begin each exercise with a slow, consistent contraction, 8 seconds. If, for example, if you're doing a bicep curl, which really I would love to just be able to show you how this is done. But I have an example of a little video that I can share with you, a YouTube one at the end here, that just, if you're looking how we demonstrated Dr. Anderson's movements. So you hold and contract for 8 seconds, or contract for 8 seconds, hold it for 4, and then relax the muscle as you slowly return back to your starting position. And then immediately you go to another repetition for a total of 5 per, like for example, if you're doing the upper body rotation, you would do 5 exercises in the upper body without taking a rest. And a lot of times for people that have been lifting weights, they're used to doing a set and then resting, taking a drink, resting for a minute and then going to the next one. But this is designed just to go from one exercise to the other. You'll rest for 20 seconds and then you'll start your new exercise. So after the second rotation, you use a different set of exercises, but they still work the same muscle group. So there's rotation A and there's rotation B, and it's very if you're just starting out, a lot of times we'll just have people do rotation A, and if people are feeling comfortable with that, we'll have them go on to rotation B and do both rotations in one exercise category, or one exercise session. So typically it only takes about 30 minutes to do that, and you just do it twice a week. You have huge benefits from doing that, and you won't want to do it like every single day, for example, because your muscles need to recover. So you want to make sure that you have a recovery day in between your strengthening resistant training days. So benefits of all this, you put in the work, you want to see the benefits, is you're going to boost up your calorie burning capacity of all your neat activities because you're building up muscle. And a lot of times people don't realize that each pound of muscle burns about 50 calories and each pound of fat only burns 2. So if you have a choice between the two, I would definitely go for the muscle and burn up that fat because it's not doing you any good. So that's how you can increase your basal metabolic rate, by adding on that lean muscle mass. So if you think about it, if you add on 10 pounds of lean muscle and each pound of muscle burns 50 calories, that is 500 extra calories per day that you're going to burn just in a resting state. So even if you're sleeping, your body's going to be burning at a higher rate. So it burns even after your workout is done as your muscles replenish your oxygen. And we call that the EPOC, and that's the energy burn after a workout. And that is with cardiovascular and resistance exercise, but resistance exercise has a longer EPOC than your cardiovascular does. So before we move on to these important rules of stretching, I just want to explain a little bit about honor strength training. Let's pop back there for a minute. Some important tips to remember when you're doing your strength training. And in Dr. A's book, he talks about, how you want to, of course, warm up before you do your strength activities. So doing like a 5-minute warm up, and then doing those 2 rotations, and then doing your cool down, a 5-minute cool down. So when you are doing your strength, before you start your program, make sure that you do get cleared by a doctor. We don't want you to get hurt. And make sure that you do, for example, if you're doing, if you're going to a gym, it's nice to have a trainer help to make sure you're doing it safely. If you're doing it at home, make sure you do read the activities, or we have a little video that's nice. Dr. A's video demonstrates how to do these activities so that you can do them safely, because we don't want anybody to get hurt. They can be done with very minimal equipment. All you need is like a resistance ball and some dumbbells and a little bit of space. So dedicated space for you to do your activities. And sometimes that's why I do like going to a gym, because you do have that dedicated space and the equipment that's there, and the kids aren't bugging you, and you can just do your workout and go home. So a lot of great benefits. And then, of course, after you're done, and as you get started, you'd want to make sure that you do stretch, but don't stretch on your cold muscles. So you always want to warm up first with some movements. For example, if you're walking on a treadmill or outside, you can warm up those muscles, or warm them up by doing like some simple, just dynamic stretching. But only stretch the problem areas after you warm up. So if you have a tight hamstring, a tight calf, warm up first. Don't bounce into it. People can pull a muscle there, but ease into it. And we usually use the breath to kind of help people ease into it. So as you inhale, you kind of lift up slightly, and exhale, just kind of sink into your stretch just a little bit deeper. And usually I go for like 5 deep breaths on a stretch, or you can count to 30 or 40 seconds. So I love yoga, and yoga really kind of gets into some of these stretches. And I like to do a little bit of yoga after a workout too, because it stretches out that muscle after you've worked it really well. So stretch for 2 or 3 times. Keep that going. I want to just share, if I can. Let's see if I can pull it up. But share just a little bit of a worksheet that we've kind of put together. I don't know if can you see this, but if anybody wants this worksheet, we've just taken it straight from Dr. A's book and put together the rotations on a spreadsheet, so that you can see if you're picking out an exercise from the core, from the chest, back, the shoulders, and the arms, and how many reps you're doing with one set. And you can just write down how much weight you used, or if you used your body weight. And that helps you track that over time. Another great tool that I'm going to try to pull up really quick here is, one of my coaches has a fitness TV, and she has put together a video of herself doing these activities in one workout. But also the video that Dr. A has shows you the proper technique. She just kind of walks you through a workout if you want to do a 30-minute workout.
Jeannine, we're gonna have to unshare that screen and reshare the video screen. But and so you can bring that up. That document that you were talking about, if you would be able to make that available to me in an email, I can make sure that it gets over the Habits of Health connection, where we can, have people download it. So, I just kind of wanted, while you're pulling that up, I wanted to go over a couple of other things with exercise. The fact that exercise will really help you when you start in with the Habits of Health. Getting exercise into your day is going to help you maintain your weight as well. So while you're incorporating the good eating habits that we're talking about earlier, and practicing the habits of sleep and the habits of motion, exercise is going to be an important part, so that when you continue on with the program and you're into maintenance, it's going to help you maintain a healthy body weight. Let alone the fact that, go ahead.
Yeah, it's so good for that maintenance part of it. It's like 50-50 on that maintenance.
There you go. So, and the other thing, the exercise really does combat a lot of other health problems. It helps us with our good cholesterol. It helps lower triglycerides. And so it also increases our endorphins, and the fact that it makes us feel better. So we have, it's a mood changer. So if you're thinking about things and all the benefits that exercise can do for you, from mental state to physical state, it will change everything that you think about. Maybe think about getting out of your chair once in a while and getting outside. I know that it's cold out there now, But you start practicing these habits now. Come springtime, you're going to be ready to rock and roll.
And you can get outside too. It's so even in the cooler days, we just got a big snowstorm and we went outside and just grabbed some snowshoes or some you can use snowshoes to do your walking activities too. And we had to use a little bit of that because our snow was deeper. So that's another way you can add some walking in outside. But in Dr. A's book, it talks about layering up and making sure that you have proper clothing, proper shoes, those type of things to make sure that you are safe, because we do want you to be safe in this. But I really am glad you brought that up, because in our program, a lot of times you can lose the weight through nutrition, and it's so effective. But as you get into our maintenance and getting into our program, one of the maintenance, like you were saying, it starts becoming more and more important to rely on some of these habits of movements to help with maintenance and keeping that weight off.
So did you find that video?
Yeah, so you wanted me to share that with you? Just send it to you right
absolutely. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna stop the screen share, then you can go ahead and start yours.
Okay. All right, so here it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, I see it.
You see it?
I do. GutHealth.us.
Now this is a fun, as you get into it, she's just is just doing those core activities from Dr. A's.
Okay.
The hold.
Well, I don't see anything else.
Oh, you don't?
Nope. You're still on the slideshow.
Okay.
All right,
So
maybe we'll do that at another time.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Pardon me?
We'll pause that. So
yeah, that's all right. Don't worry about it. You know, the other thing that I wanted to kind of touch base on here, Jeannine, was the fact of one of the other things that exercise does for you, and that is the arterial sclerosis, the hardening of the arteries. While you're exercising, as we go, I guess as we get older, the blood vessels actually harden. Okay, so that's one of the things for is hardening of the arteries. But if you exercise and get the blood pumping, then the arterial wall of the blood vessels have to stretch somewhat, and so they don't stay rigid any longer, and they actually start moving. And so that way you can actually reduce heart attack and stroke. Is that right?
Exactly. And it's in the other interesting thing that he also talks about in the book is how it makes little micro tears into the fiber as you're doing these strength exercises deep into the cell, and then by repairing it, you actually get stronger. So that's where some of that feeling of soreness comes. You get a little bit of lactic acid buildup, but you have that little bit of tearing, and so it's a good thing. It's a good thing because it's going in and it's making your muscles stronger. But sometimes people get afraid of that. They feel the soreness maybe a hurt muscle, and so you have to listen to your body. But a lot of times that soreness is a good thing, and it's something that's usually 2 or 3 days it's gone. But if it's something that lingers, then you can get that checked out with a doctor. But it actually, the benefits of having that stronger muscle is huge, building it back up again, and having more of that calorie burn is just amazing. And it's like you said, it's nature's endorphins. It helps you with the depressions, all kinds of things. It's my best stress relief. I use it for stress relief. I usually exercise first thing in the morning from about 5:30 to 7. And then my day goes so much better. So I know the importance of exercise. Chelsey's another great example of how this has changed her life, and just starting off really slow, getting back into things, and now being able to do a lot of the activities that she really loves to do, and getting her life back, really.
Let me ask you another thing. While we're on exercise and strength
Uh-huh.
training, so you know, I've been exercising, and the fact that I know that a lot of people who are afraid to exercise, they get that get the muscle burn, and then there's the lactic acid that goes along with it.
Right.
Okay, and so you get that muscle that gets all tensed up.
Yeah.
Do you have a tip for us that would help us with that?
Well, a lot of times just a simple yoga, and with iPhones and smartphones, you can download little yoga apps that'll do like 5-minute yoga. I love those because it helps to work the acid out of the muscles. Drinking a lot of fluid helps to kind of flush that out. And making sure that you keep moving is the best tip I can give you, because some people get sore and then they don't want to move, and it actually just makes it worse. And so we usually just tell them, just keep moving, try to move as much as possible. If you had a hard strength day one day and you're really sore the next, maybe just do some walking to get the muscles, get some of the lactic acid out of the muscles. But yeah,
Great.
that's painful.
Yeah, it can be if you don't stretch things out after you've
Right.
exercised. So, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jeannine. I do appreciate you stopping by tonight, sharing
Yeah,
the
you
habits of health with us. And thank you so much, Chelsey, for your story. So we will have week 9 next week, same time, 6:30 p.m. and Pacific. And hopefully you can tune in again. Appreciate everybody's time tonight. You all have a good one. All right?
All right, thanks.
You betcha. Thank you. Bye-bye.